Hey guys, wanted to provide you a video with some feedback on how to go about starting this last chunk of assignments that we have for our class. This is going to start with the argumentative essay outline. So I'm just going to walk you through basically the schedule of the argumentative essay process, as well as what to expect to include for not only the outline, but of course your drafts as we approach that final draft, which will be wrapped up sometime next week. So the outline, the prompt and schedule, and then the rubric are all attached to the essay outline assignment, which is assignment number 21. So I've opened up each one of those up here. We're just going to kind of walk through those so you have an idea of what to expect. So for the prompt, we finished reading Mouse. We did that before break. We've also read a few articles that represented arguments both for and against the use of graphic novels in a classroom. Now we are going to write an argumentative essay where we take a side on this issue and provide reasons from our reading, both of the articles and the reading of the graphic novel, to help support the stance that we are choosing to take. So the prompt right here in bold: after reading a graphic novel for a high school class and deepening our knowledge on the support and opposition for the use of graphic novels in educational classes, you are to answer the following question with your educated opinion. Do graphic novels belong in classrooms? Why or why not? So what to expect for this assignment: you're going to be writing a 5-paragraph essay. The intro paragraph, looking for an attention getter, where you're just basically introducing that idea of the controversy surrounding graphic novels, whether or not they are legitimate literature, whether or not they should be used in classrooms with students as opposed to more traditional texts. You're obviously going to need to give some background as to what a graphic novel is, something that was discussed kind of at the beginning of this unit, as well as explain the fact that you have read a graphic novel for a high school class at least once because you did it here. That being said, that will make you an expert on the situation because you've gone through this experience. And then finally, a thesis answering our prompt questions. So basically, are you for or against their use in classrooms? And then giving 2 reasons why, because we are going to be writing 2 body paragraphs, one about each of those reasons. So body paragraph 1, main idea sentence with a reason, based off our reason for the thesis. And then after that, using 1 quote or piece of evidence, probably going to be from an article that we have read in class. So you may need to go back to those and refresh yourself. We read 2 articles supporting the use of graphic novels and 2 against the use. So depending on your viewpoint, you have 2 different things to choose from. You are more than welcome to go look for sources on your own. I just thought it might be easier on you and your time constraints with the wacky stuff we have going on with COVID, if you wanted to use something that we've already read. But you're going to be using a quote to support your main idea here, and then you're going to explain how that quote, how that piece of evidence supports your main idea for the paragraph. Something a little different compared to the first essay we did in this class. Since this is an argumentative essay, you were basically talking about your opinion or your personal view on something. I want you to address the counterclaim, which is basically just explaining what the opposing viewpoint of your main idea would be, and then explaining why you disagree with that or why you think that would be incorrect. All right. So just 1 quote in this body paragraph. And then instead of adding a 2nd quote like we did with our last essay, you are just going to be addressing the counterclaim, explaining what your opposition might think, and then explaining why you disagree or why you think that is incorrect. Same exact process for the 2nd body paragraph, except you are just talking about your 2nd reason from up here in your thesis. Still drawing a quote, probably from one of the sources that we've looked at together as a class, explaining how that quote supports your main idea here, and then once again addressing the counterclaim. Your 3rd body paragraph is going to be different. It is going to be different from the first 2. Here, you should be talking about your personal experience reading a graphic novel. So Definitely you can draw from your experience on reading Mouse. If you have read another graphic novel for school, you're more than welcome to talk about that as well. But obviously, how you explain your experience should align with your thesis. So you shouldn't say that graphic novels should not be allowed in schools, and then in your third body paragraph here where you talk about your experience, be like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite book I ever read. I wish I could do this again. You would obviously want that to match up with your experience. So you kind of want to portray your experience either in a positive way if you think they should be used, or more likely a negative way if you don't think they should be used, depending on your viewpoint here. So that is our third body paragraph. You don't need any quotes. It's probably going to be a little shorter than your other body paragraphs, and that's okay. This is something different that I'm asking you to do, kind of blending both some academic writing with the use of quotes and explanation of evidence, and also creating your own evidence based off your personal experience. Since this is an argumentative essay, you are combining your life experience with some other evidence. You're just mixing and matching different forms of evidence. So I thought that would be useful to try and interesting to read about. And then finally, we have our conclusion paragraph. You are recapping and then basically closing on the idea of this, why this is important, how it affects students, how it affects learning, and how your option is going to most positively affect the learning of students in classrooms. Obviously, we need to make sure we are using MLA, both for the formatting of our paper, which I will give you some assistance with once you are done with the rough draft and starting to work on your final draft, and also our citations as well, our in-text citations. A few important dates: Wednesday, January 6th, by midnight, that is the middle of week 9, our first week back from break. That is when the outline is going to be due. The rough draft is going to be due Sunday, January 10th, so the end of week 9. And then the final draft is going to be due Tuesday, January 12th by midnight, so somewhere in the middle of that last week of the term. Outline and rough draft are worth 10 points each, simply based on full completion. I'm not going to grade them based on content since this is developing work, but if you look at these as all one big thing, that's 120 points, and 20 of it is just meeting deadlines, giving it your best shot to kind of provide you with a cushion, okay? There will be late penalties, so we want to make sure we're getting those in on time. My email is here. There's going to be optional Google Meets. If you want to stop by, please do. If you want to connect with me and have our own, you're more than welcome. Or if you just want to email me, that is fine as well. So if you need help, there's plenty of ways to get a hold of me. The tentative schedule: no school Monday, starting our outline Tuesday. We are skipping our last online discussion question just so I don't want to put too many things on your plate. A paper is enough to worry about, so I don't want to give you something else to worry about. So we're skipping that. We're starting our argumentative outline on Tuesday, continuing to work on it Wednesday with it being due that evening. Thursday, start on the rough draft. Friday, continue working on the rough draft. It is due Sunday by midnight. Monday, basically going to be some editing and some formatting. I will have some exercises and instructions for how to do that will be posted next week to basically polish our rough draft into a, probably wouldn't be the fullest version of a final draft if we had some more time, but we're gonna call it our final draft. And that will be due Tuesday by midnight, so you can spend Tuesday working out the kinks, proofreading, editing, formatting, all that stuff. So it'll be due Tuesday by midnight. Wednesday is going to be a day to catch up on anything that you have not finished up for the term that you'd like to turn in. So any late or missing work would be due by 1 p.m. that day. Thursday and Friday would just simply be finals prep, and at some point the final exam. That's still a little bit up in the air based on some administrative decisions that I hope to learn more about soon. So we'll get to that when we get there. I'll definitely fill you in once I know more, but just know that that's basically a look at what's going to be going on, all right? The rubric is here as well. 10 points are going to be strictly for formatting, so once again, another little bit of a cushion. 10 points for the intro paragraph, 10 points for the conclusion paragraph based on the things that we talked about in the prompt. Body paragraph 1, 25 points. based on our use of evidence, our ability to explain that, and our ability to identify and counter our opposition. Same thing in our second body paragraph, another 25 points, and then the last 20 to equal 100 total for the paper would be your body paragraph number 3, just talking about your personal experience, making sure we explain ourselves clearly. And that would be that. So that is the rubric. The actual outline, here it is. Everything up here is the same that we went through on the prompt, so all that stuff is printed on here as well in case you need to reference it here. Our attention getter, we're introducing what a graphic novel is, that we've read one, that we have our thesis, answering the prompt with at least 2 reasons. Our main idea for our body paragraph number 1, what is our quote or evidence from our article. Addressing the counterclaim. Same thing in our second body paragraph, so obviously things we would need to add later when we draft would be our link explaining that evidence, and then a concluding statement, recapping, wrapping those things up. Body paragraph 3, just there will be an opportunity to flesh it out more later, but explaining our experience reading it, and based off your experience, why you support or do not support the use of a graphic novel in class. Note, I did write up here, once again, this paragraph is probably going to be shorter than others. That's okay. And then our conclusion paragraph, summarizing our thesis, our main ideas, recapping our personal experience, and explaining why this is important and how your decision is going to best affect students in general. All right. Obviously, proofreading would be a good final step for that, but that is a gist of what to expect and what will be going on for this assignment. I just really want to strongly encourage for you to reach out if you need anything at all. Please know I'm here to help. We are very close to the end of this class. This is the last big thing we got going on. I'm looking forward to helping you through this and getting you through the end of a kind of wacky term, but we're all well on our way to accomplishing a very important and impressive goal. And I'm looking forward to working with you the rest of the way out to finish that up. So I hope to talk to you soon. I appreciate you watching, and good luck with everything.